Social injustice. This TechSet project is designed to provide students with the tools to gain an understanding of the social injustice African Americans endured and how their actions shaped our society today. The three texts chosen include Going Someplace Special, Rosa, and The Story of Ruby Bridges. Each text takes its reader to a time when racism, prejudice, and segregation were a way of life. Going Someplace Special takes place in the 1950s in a southern town where a young African-American girl named Trisha Ann desires to demonstrate some independence by taking the bus into town on her own. Her grandmother reluctantly agrees and reminds Trisha to remain confident in her travels. Trisha Ann experiences prejudice, segregation, and racism throughout her journey to a place where, quote, all are welcome, the public library. Rosa is a true story about civil rights activist Rosa Parks, who begins the Montgomery bus boycott when she refuses to give up her seat on the bus to a white man. This text not only describes one woman's courage and determination of equal rights, but also discusses the importance of key figures such as Martin Luther King Jr. and the NAACP. The Story of Ruby Bridges is another nonfiction text which portrays an African-American little girl's strength as she faces hatred and segregation in the schools in the South in a time when the separation of individuals because of the color of their skin was an acceptable practice. The previously mentioned texts were chosen for this text set project because they each portray strong African Americans who face social injustice head-on in the search of social equality. The goals of instruction include providing students the life experiences of African Americans, providing students with the opportunity to gain an understanding of the social injustice, and finally, helping students acquire an understanding of the African American culture. This project is intended for a third grade class with a diverse background, including those who identify with the African American culture. It is estimated that the stories and activities that follow will last approximately 3 weeks. The activities incorporating the text Going Someplace Special include building students' background knowledge. A group discussion will follow to assess for critical literacy skills, and finally, students will be asked to choose the perspective of Trisha Ann at the beginning or at the end of the story and create a journal entry. Activities surrounding Rosa include students interviewing family members or family friends that lived during the 1950s. Other activities include a group discussion to check for comprehension and critical literacy skills. After the story is read, students will participate in a group presentation in which they will compare the actions of Rosa Parks to those of individuals such as Martin Luther King Jr. or the Greensboro sit-ins. Before reading the story of Ruby Bridges, students will participate in the creation of a Venn diagram, which compares and contrasts the feelings and thoughts of Ruby Bridges and those of the white protesters. During the reading, students will work in small groups to create a concept map to assist them in outlining the events in the story. Students will then be asked to think and write about their definition of equality. Interdisciplinary connections include geography, in which students will identify locations of the events discussed. History will be incorporated by students creating a timeline of events. And social studies will be incorporated by students researching a person from a text read or mentioned in a follow-up activity and researching the individual further. While completing this project and having had time to reflect, I realized that we must do more as educators to provide a multicultural education besides reading multicultural literature. Our students may not have had experiences such as the social injustice that we are teaching, and therefore it is important for them to acquire background knowledge, analyze the text, and participate in discussions, and provide them with time to collaborate with teachers and peers. What I enjoyed most about this project was connecting other disciplines into the study of social injustice. What I found most challenging was designing the lessons that allowed my students the opportunities to connect with the characters and take their perspective when they didn't have first-hand experience.